Okay. So if I have 3 kids and the product of their ages is 36, what are 3 possible ages that they might be?
Okay. So 36 divided by, well, no, they couldn't. Well, they could be they could all be 12 if they were triplets.
It it's the
One of
product.
them could
It's the
be 5
product.
years
But
old.
hold on, it's the product, which means it's
Oh, the product. Sorry, I was thinking of the.
meow times meow times
Yeah.
meow.
Okay. Okay. Um. Jesus. Why am I having a hard time thinking? Um. Okay, so 3 times 4.
It's 12.
Wait, yes, 3 times 3 times
4.
4, because 3 times 3 is 9, and
Yeah.
then 9 times 4 is 36.
Okay, so 2 3-year-olds and a 4-year-old. That's possible.
Yeah.
You could have a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So have you seen a lot of my typing sessions before?
I've seen a couple of them.
Okay.
Like I didn't watch them all the way through, but I've seen like you type an ISTJ and then like an ISFP. So I've seen you type like a couple of people for like a couple of minutes.
Okay, cool. I was looking at just. Oh right. So, which would you rather, if you have to do it, you're forced to do it at gunpoint, and they have a lot of other people besides you at gunpoint as well. Okay, so you're really forced to choose.
Okay.
Do you choose to chop somebody's arm off, or bankrupt them, steal all their money, and end their business?
Probably the second one.
And why?
Because if I chop their arm off, they can easily bleed out, and so their life just kind of ends at that point, theoretically. But if I do the second choice, then yeah, I've stolen all the.
Well, she did warn me about her Wi-Fi, didn't she? We'll play a waiting song here on the harmonica.
Hello.
Hi, Mackenzie. You're back.
Hi. I'm sorry, my computer turned off.
It's okay. So, what question did I ask you a second ago? What was I just asking? Can you? I don't remember what I was about to say, but I know what I was doing. Right. So, if you had to do one of the following things, which would you rather be forced to do? You either have to
Hold on just a sec. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me anymore? I can hear.
It's coming back up. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem.
I'm back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, my computer turned off, so I had to go on my phone, and like for some reason when I'm on my phone, it makes like a noise, so I couldn't understand what you were saying. But I remember the question. So it was if I had to choose the first one or the second one.
Oh yeah, you answered that one. So the next question is, what if
Okay.
you were required to either save 5 60-year-old ladies or 1 5-year-old girl?
I'm gonna save the 60-year-old ladies.
Why?
I mean, I guess for one of the obvious reasons, like the more the merrier. But I mean, I guess that's the main reason. But also, like, even though someone who would choose like the 5-year-old because the ones in their 60s are older and they could possibly die soon, like I just think that since there's more people, I would preserve like the greater good rather than the one, even though it's
what
a
if they
child.
were 95-year-old ladies?
Then yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go for the. Jesus. I guess at that point I would go for the 5-year-old.
Are you saying old people aren't worth as much?
I mean, in a certain sense. In a certain connotation, they're not.
Okay. So if you had to drown either a puppy or a kitten, which would it be?
Honestly, I don't really. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't care about animals. I just don't have a passion for them. But I guess I would say. I mean, that's honestly, what's really the difference?
I don't know. Is there one?
I guess. Oh gosh, if I had. Well, I feel like the kitten might put up more of a fight, but it depends on.
Okay.
So maybe.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So we'll see. Well, I'm interested to see how the results on that line of inquiry end up playing out in terms of whether our prediction regarding that, because this is a new line of inquiry I was talking with somebody about last night, and there's a prediction here. So you tested positive, okay, according to our criteria here. Now the question is, if in fact the test that I just gave you actually does determine what we're trying to test for. So I'm not going to really use the results for that as any kind of data per se, but instead I'm just going to use other things to verify to see if that thing is right or not. All right. So Next question. Can you recount for me what you had for breakfast this morning?
So I didn't have anything for breakfast because I went to bed at 6 and then woke up at like 11:30. But my family and I went out to eat for lunch around. It might have been like an hour after I woke up, so like 12:30. So I had like a sandwich. It was like an Italian sandwich from this place that I've never been to, with like a bunch of meat and peppers on it. Yeah, that was basically it, and some chips that I didn't eat.
Is that normal sleeping pattern for you to go to bed so early in the morning and then sleep late until the early afternoon or something?
I mean, it depends. Like, it used to be definitely on the weekends when I was in high school, which was like 2 years ago. But now it depends because sometimes I work like the early morning shift. And I just had been on a flight all day yesterday, so my body was just kind of tired. And I took a nap at 9:30 at night and then woke up. No, I took a nap at like 7 and woke up at 9:30. And then I was up until 6 in the morning. So it depends.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about other people's perceptions of you.
Okay.
Do you think other people will perceive you more as fun or reliable?
Definitely fun.
Okay. Do you think they'd perceive you more as clever or decisive?
Okay, elaborate on decisive.
Isn't one to let an opportunity pass because of excessive hesitation?
honestly, between those two choices, I'd probably go with clever, but I I don't think that would describe me as either of those, but I would go with clever out of the two.
Okay. Do you ever get into political discussions with people, or do you have political opinions?
Okay, so I have gotten into political discussions before, but then I realized that I was basing it off of very little knowledge and just like kind of what I thought on the surface, of a couple of like certain political things that I've heard before, and just like immediate opinions that I have. But I haven't really like delved deep into the topic because I don't really care, honestly. So yes, but I kind of refrain now because I decided if I don't know enough about it, or if I don't think that I can form a clear opinion if I don't know all the sides and everything about it.
Okay.
Like, because I don't want to be biased.
Okay. If some squirrels. No, I'm sorry. Let me start over. If all squirrels enjoy acorns, and some things that enjoy acorns also like badminton, can we conclude that some squirrels like badminton?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, hold on. Can you repeat the question again? Do it again,
If
please.
all squirrels
Okay.
enjoy acorns,
Okay.
and some things that enjoy acorns also
No,
like.
then no.
Okay.
Then no.
All right. Fine.
No.
If if P or Q, then S, not S, what can we conclude?
If P or Q, then S, not S. So, because if you don't have the because okay, yeah. So then okay, if P or Q, then S. If not S, then not P or Q, right? Because of like the consequence. But also, I know what you're testing for, but I took a logic class.
Okay.
So that's kind
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
How did you find the logic class?
How did I find it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was offered at my school.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm using the old-fashioned.
How did you?
Yeah, I'm using the old-fashioned
okay.
meaning of the word. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. How did you like it? Okay. I liked it a lot. I mean, it was like
Was it easy? Hard?
It wasn't hard. It was more like it was. I'm not gonna say it was easy or hard.
Was it easier for you than the average classmate?
I mean, God, I wouldn't know how to gauge that. I would say yes, just because I'm pretty decent in school and everything. But like I got like a B in there. I could have gotten better. I just didn't try hard enough. But it wasn't because the material was that hard. It was just I didn't feel like putting enough effort.
I barely passed my logic class, my conditional logic class in college, and
that's interesting because.
And I ended up teaching it. I teach it. So
yeah.
The thing is, of course, when you're a college student, if you don't really like to go to class or do your work, then it's quite possible to barely pass something you're naturally good at. So that's what happened to me. Anyway, okay, let me ask about some more of these questions about how people perceive you. Are people more likely to perceive you as objective or subjective?
I feel like it depends on who you ask, but I feel like if I'm gonna like talk about my friends, I feel like maybe objective.
Okay. Do you feel it's important to avoid being wrong in order to attain the approval of others, or do you think that by maintaining the approval of others you avoid being wrong?
Avoid being wrong. I mean, okay, so yeah, I personally like to be right, but it like if I'm in an argument with somebody and I'm like if they're proving me wrong, I'm going to kind of give into that. Like I'm not going to try to continue to prove my wrong point because I'll probably be able to see that it's wrong, but if I'm certain 100% that I'm right, then I'm going to keep pressing for what I think is the truth. If that answered that question. I know that.
Yeah, sure. No, that's not bad. That's a fine answer. Tell me about your music that you do.
My music? Like what I like to listen to?
No, well, that music stuff back there. Is that your stuff?
Oh, that's my dad's.
Oh, that's your dad's. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So tell me about what you like to listen to.
What I like to listen to? Okay. I don't have a wide variety because I'm like picky when it comes to that kind of stuff for some reason, but I mainly listen to, as of right now, pop punk, pop rock, and some like modern R&B. Other than that, or like, some songs from the past that I used to listen to that I still like. But other than that, I don't really have a clear cut, like, I don't have a lot of like, oh, I like this and this and this and this.
Do you have playlists that you make someplace to listen to?
I mean, I have, yeah, but it's just one playlist with any song that I like. I'll play.
Okay, so they're not themed playlists.
No, I can't do that. I've thought about doing that, but it's just there's no point because I don't have that many songs to listen to anyway.
Do you have a Pinterest?
I don't have a Pinterest. I have a Reddit and a Quora. Well, no, I do have a Pinterest, but I don't go on it. I do have a Pinterest, but I don't go on it.
Do you have an Instagram?
I do have an Instagram. I go on it like every day, but I don't really spend that much time on it.
TikTok?
And I have a Snapchat and a Facebook.
What about TikTok?
And a Twitter. Huh?
What about TikTok?
Okay. I have an account, but I do not use that thing. I hate TikTok.
What do you hate about it?
It's just like I don't know, it's just kids getting famous for doing a bunch of arm movements, and then there is like, some funny videos on there, but I'm not that much into comedy or that type of comedy. So I don't find it fascinating. I wouldn't want to scroll on my phone all day through it and watch random videos.
What's your favorite kind of media to consume? Visual stuff like videos, books, writing, or music, or like live plays, perhaps? I mean, nobody's ever given that answer, but
no. Probably just videos. I mean, it's hard for me to find like movies and television shows that I like. But that's what I would go to for entertainment, other than music, other than social media.
Can you give me some examples of TV shows or movies that you like?
I'm sorry, what did you say? You cut out.
Could you give me some examples of TV shows or movies you like?
Okay, so my favorite TV show is on Netflix, and it's an original. It's called Bloodline. It's like a drama, thriller, slow burn type of show. So that's more of like intense. I like more intense stuff. That's more serious. I don't like cartoon. I don't like anything fantasy, anything just I don't everything realistic for the most part. I mean, sometimes I'll watch, teen drama shows, and those are very cliche, but like not that often.
Okay. Do you know what the RAT test is?
The what?
The RAT test?
I don't.
It stands for Random Associations Test. Okay? So I'm gonna pull it up here, and I'm gonna share it in this room so you can see it too. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so now I'll go over here, and I will share the screen. And I will put Chrome tab, and I will go to this one. And I push this button here that says share. Okay, so the way this works is it says like cottage Swiss cake, right? The word that goes with all three of them is cheese, because you have cottage cheese, Swiss cheese, or cheesecake. So it goes either before or after. Can you tell me the answers to... And what you should do is... I'll read it out loud. Give you about 10 seconds. If you don't get it, we'll pass. Go to the next one, okay? Because I want to try a fair number of these, so we don't want to spend more than about 10 seconds on each one. All right. Cream, skate, water.
I was going to say park, but that wouldn't work with cream.
Ice. Loser, throat, spot.
Sore.
Show, life, row.
Time. No.
Boat.
Okay.
Night, wrist, stop.
Watch.
Correct. Duck, fold, dollar.
I don't know.
Bill.
Okay.
Rocking wheel high.
Horse. No. I don't know.
It's chair.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, horse works with two of them. Do, comb, bee.
Honey.
Fountain baking pop.
Soda.
Preserve Ranger tropical.
No.
Forest. Aid rubber wagon.
I don't know.
Band. Flake.
God.
Flake mobile cone.
No.
Okay. Let's try a couple of these ones down here that are a little bit more challenging and see if you can get any of them. So, look, I'm going to read through these, giving you about just a 2-second break in between, and then we're going to go back to the top, and you tell me which ones you get answers for, okay, if any. So, sage paint hair, French car shoe, boot summer ground,
camp,
chamber mask natural, mill tooth dust,
no,
main sweeper light, pike coat signal, office mail hat.
No.
Okay, so now let's go up back and do those ones again that we just went over. Okay, so we'll start with cross rain tie,
bow,
nice, sage paint hair,
I don't know,
brush, French car shoe,
shoe, it's not lace, I don't know,
horn.
Shoehorn. Okay.
Yeah, that's to help you put your shoe on. Is like a curvy thing you put behind your heel so it slides the heel of your shoe on without squashing it down.
Okay.
Chamber mask natural.
No, I don't know.
Okay, that's enough for that test. Okay, so here's the thing. You did, I would say, well on it.
Well, I feel like I did terrible.
No, I mean, actually you did well to quite well on it.
Oh, really?
Somebody who's polar, so you're not an ESFJ or an ESTJ as far as I can, based on, I'm starting to have more and more faith that this is a pretty good polar test.
Is that NI polar?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not an ESTJ or an ESFJ because they can't seem to get any of those. They really struggle with that. So, and a lot of people struggle with it somewhat, but there's not a huge difference between, say, first and third and how they perform on that. So,
what about first and fourth?
It's tough. I don't know. My daughter does about as well as you do on it. She's fourth.
Oh, okay.
So, but she probably does, I would guess, better than most fourths. I'm not sure. So that's the thing. I haven't done a whole lot of testing with this rat test. It's a fairly recent addition to my protocols. So I don't have as much data on it as I have on other things. But all I can really definitively say with it right now is you're not blind. You're not NI blind.
Okay.
So that doesn't.
Wait. So are all these things you're doing?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that eliminates 2 types at least.
Okay.
Next, I'm gonna try an Inky Pinky test. This is a test of extroverted intuition, and it goes like this. The clue will be something like hilltop water spout, and I'll tell you it's an Inky Pinky, which means it's 2 syllables each word in the answer, and the answer is a mountain fountain. So hilltop water spout is the clue. Inky Pinky is how many syllables there are, and the answer therefore is mountain fountain, because Inky Pinky, mountain fountain, right?
Okay,
That's what the Inky Pinky part tells you. Okay. So another example is roadway flesh, ink pink, and the answer is street meat. Roadway flesh, ink pink, and the answer is street meat.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna start easy.
Roadway, which is street, and then okay, got you.
We'll start easy.
This might be hard.
Well, it is for most people. Okay. So early morning grass. It's an ink pink.
Early morning. Dawn. No. Dawn. Grass. Plant?
Lawn.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
The answer's got to rhyme. That's fine. No, people always have trouble with this concept at first. Okay, this is not unusual.
I'm putting the pattern together because Inky Pinky, you got
right.
2 syllables and then it rhymes.
Let's do another ink pink. Okay, so this is a drop from a partition, and it's an ink pink. A drop from a partition. It's an ink pink.
Fall?
What rhymes with fall that means partition?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that word means.
Oh, okay. How about instead of partition, say barrier?
Barrier, hall?
Wall.
Wall, okay.
A wall fall. Okay, let's try one more of these. Okay, so this is an inky pinkety. It's a 2-3, the syllables, okay?
Got you.
And it's a very important soap for clothing.
Okay, body wash?
It's an urgent detergent.
Oh, okay.
All right, fine. So you're not an extrovert, intuition dominant person. Let me ask you a couple of genealogy questions now. Who is my mother's husband's wife in relationship to me?
My mother's, so my grandmother. Mother's husband's. Grandpa. Wife. So wouldn't that, that would be your, so my mother's mother, which is my grandma, her husband, and then his wife, which goes back to the grandma.
Right, correct.
Got Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay, so fine. Um, okay. Would your friends describe you as more extroverted or introverted?
Extroverted, completely. I don't know if there's any introversion in me.
Okay. Um, I think that you're an ESTP, but um,
You said an ESTP?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, but I don't know yet. I need to ask more questions. I'd like to get Rachel's opinion on a couple of things. Hey, Rachel, can you help me with this a little bit?
What is it you need help with?
Well, I want you. You haven't been able to hear me, right? I want you to just sort of ask her a couple of quick questions here, and just listen to her talk for a bit, and just after you're done interacting with her, but give me your impression about her type. Okay?
Yeah, what kind of questions would you like me to ask?
Whatever you think you'd like to ask to, you could use these if you want.
Okay.
To make the determination. Or I can plug these in. I don't know why I'm not plugging these in. Here. There you go. I will say this much before anything else. She reminds me a lot of April.
I was getting SI vibes.
Okay, well, see what you think. Talk to her a bit.
Okay. Hi, Mackenzie.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good.
Okay, so trying to think of what. Hold on, 1 second. Eric, I'm getting feedback in my ears. Is that
That's on
going to
her.
be okay?
If you ask her if she can turn down her volume on this, whatever she's listening through, a little bit.
Okay.
Do you want me to turn down my volume?
If you could, just a little bit.
Okay. Does that make a difference?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so, what is your day-to-day routine like?
Oh gosh, it's very routine. Like, I mean, it's not planned that way. It just kind of happens. So I wake up. Usually I have like the morning shift at work, so I'll wake up at like, if I work at 8, I'll try to wake up at 7, but sometimes it turns into 7:20 because I don't feel like getting up. So I'll wake up, I'll take a shower. It takes me like 10 minutes, and then I'll put on my clothes. I got to get out of the door by 7:45 to be at work at 8. I try to get like something to eat, at least like a piece of fruit or something, but it doesn't always happen. So I go to work from 8 to 4:30, and then I get out at 4:30, and then I tell myself I'm going to do homework because I need to and I should, but I don't. So I end up going to someone's house until like 9:30, 10:30. I get out. I have to work the next day at around the same time. And then I end up not doing homework, and I tell myself I'll do it in a couple of days because it's not due until a week from that day. And then I won't get it done until like the night before, and I won't really get it done. I'll get it like halfway done, or I'll kind of just like bullshit it, so I'll get like a mediocre grade. And that's basically how every day happens. I'm always out. I'm always trying to hang out with somebody just so I don't have to be alone. Yeah.
Where do you work?
I work at Target.
Okay, so do you have a fixed schedule, or do you have hours kind of like all over the place?
So as of right now, it's more of just like whatever they want from me. I set it up that way because I have to like pay for a couple of things. So I set it up where I would do my school online, so that I wouldn't have to go in person, so that I could work more. I could work like 40 hours a week, which is the maximum. But that hasn't really worked out for me because it's been making me fall behind in school. But yeah, it's more just all over the place. So yeah, it's kind of just whenever they need me, I'm available. They schedule me how they want, and then I work my life around my work, which it should be the other way around, but it's not. So
I know the struggle, totally.
yeah,
totally.
It's
I think everyone should work in customer service like that. at least once in their lives, so they know how to treat people in the business, because it's not easy. It's not an easy job.
It's not. Get irritated.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. What's your degree in? What are you going to school
my degree right now, it's in psychology, and because I'm like really interested in specifically personality, that's why I wanted to do this session. But I honestly don't know like what the further future has in hold for me. I know that I want to do some sort of job with like, social work and people and something like more out there. But I have no idea what I want to do, and I kind of need to like start, looking and make a plan, even though I can't plan like that. So
I can't plan like that either, so I struggle with that too. Goals and tasks and stuff, it's very difficult.
It is. It's like I tell myself I need to do it, and I know I need to do it, and I could probably come up with a plan if I wanted to, but I just choose not to, and it would be a very shitty plan. So it doesn't work out too well.
See, for some people, that's how it is. Like, it.
Yeah.
And I'm in the category with you where I cannot, even if I can have even like a 3-month goal, and sometimes I diverge from that. So, how do you study? How do you like to study for class? Do you find that repetition is best for you, or are you kind of, like you said, more on the fly?
Okay, well, here's the thing. So, okay. I'm going to answer this in 2 different ways. So, I procrastinate, like, pretty much all the time. I always have, and it worked better in high school, because you don't have as many responsibilities and you have parents to pay for things, so I didn't have to work as much. Yeah, so I procrastinate, but the way I like to study, if I even do it right, like, if I need to study, I do kind of work through repetition a lot, but I've noticed that with certain things, especially like math, because that's my best subject, even though the first question he asked me was a math question and my brain froze. But so that is my best subject, but like a lot of people see it more as like a process where like, okay, if I do A and B and then C, and then that's how they like kind of get that pattern in their brain, because it's math is like a lot of patterns.
Mm-hmm.
But what is more beneficial for me, like it's the only subject that I can kind of just remember how to do and not have to study as much if I pay attention in class, because I just know how it works. So I feel like what would be better is to actually like learn the inner workings of whatever subject it is, but oftentimes I just kind of don't even study. I just kind of go for it or use whatever knowledge I have. But if I'm studying on a crunch, I probably will use repetition unless it's math.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I'm ready to.
Okay.
I'm done with my urine.
Okay.
We're
gonna switch over now.
Okay. It's nice talking to you.
You too.
Let me just. Let me mute this for 1 second. So, what do you think?
Well, high SI for sure. I mean, she was able to tell me her day down to minutes, what she was doing. Also, she's TE polar for sure, because she has the same problem with me with goals and tasks and that sort of thing. She says she has to keep in mind, like, she sounded very much like, what's her name? Like, your ex.
Kimberly?
Yeah, in the having to, like, a list and then, like, checking it off, but it being day to day, not, like, long term.
All right, cool. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, I thought of a few different things I wanted to ask you. So, I asked you before if your friends would describe you as extrovert. You said definitely extroverted. And do you agree with that assessment of theirs? Or do you think it's oversimplifying you? Or do you think you really are just like, no, I'm full blast extrovert?
I think... to answer it in more depth, I think like a couple of years ago, I was definitely completely 100% extroverted in every way possible, and I think now like I still am extroverted. Like I'm more like mature and like calm down, but like I would say I would say I'm extroverted. Like for the most part, I always want to be like with somebody and out and just like engaging with people. I mean, like people do piss me off constantly, but I still like to be around them. So
Okay. I'm gonna give you a bit of a poem. Okay, that I'm gonna put a poem up here on the screen, and
okay.
what I'm gonna leave it on the screen for like 1 minute or so, or yeah, let's say 1 minute, and then after that, I'm gonna take it off of the screen. And I'm gonna ask you to repeat back to me as much as you could memorize in that 1 minute. Okay.
Okay.
So you can practice it out loud if you want. Like, for example, you can sit there and say it out loud over and over again to yourself. You can practice it in your head if you want. However you want to prep for it, besides writing it down, is fine. Okay?
Okay.
And I will share my screen now.
Holy shit. Okay. So you're just asking me to look at this and see how many words I can repeat back to you when you say so?
Yeah, so in 1 minute, I will turn off the share screen, and then you try to say back to me as much of the poem as you can recall and
Okay.
can have memorized in that minute. All right, go.
Okay. What in the world? Zesty. Okay, Zesty, Zandy, Quest for Candy, Vested Andy's Restless Shanty, Fanned by
Reciprocity. Okay.
Reciprocity.
All right, that's fine.
That fought through primacy. Probably missed a word.
Yeah, you missed some stuff. That's fine. I got the gist of the answer I was looking for there.
Okay.
So now I'm going to ask you to. I'm going to demo something and ask you to do it back for me. Okay. So
Okay.
here's the. I'm gonna link. Well, I'll share it here too. Are you on your phone? You said.
I'm on my computer right now, but I do have my phone next to me.
All right, so let me put the link here. Then, if you're on your computer, I'm gonna share the link with you because you're gonna probably want to open this in a separate tab. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you go to, this is a short story. If you scroll down a little bit, just down to below that first ad, you'll see a big paragraph that starts with "out through that window 3 years ago to a day."
Okay. Oh, there it is. Out through that window 3 years ago today. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 30-second timer. Okay. Stop it. Start it over in a second. Make this window small. Okay. So I'm going to demo what I want you to do, which is you're going to try to read as much of this paragraph out loud as you can in 30 seconds. And to do it fast, the way to do it is as I'll demo right now. Out through that window 3 years ago to a day, her husband and her 2 young brothers went off for the day shooting. They never came back, and crossing the moor to their favorite snipe shooting ground. They were all 3 engulfed in a treacherous piece of bog. It had been that dreadful wet summer, in places that were safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was a dreadful part of it. Here, the child's voice lost its self-possessed note and became ultimately human. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back someday. They and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them and walking that window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening until it was quite dusk. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out. Her husband with the white waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother, singing "Birdie, Why Do You Bound," as he always did to tease her because she said it got on her nerves. I got to nerves. Okay. Now you try.
Okay.
I'll push the timer to go as soon as you say your first word.
As soon as I say my first word?
I'll push. Yeah, I'll start the timer. Yeah, I'll start the timer when you say your first word.
Okay, I'm about to go. Okay. After that winter 3 years ago today, her husband and her 2 young brothers went off for their days shooting. They never came back, and crossing the moor to their favorite snipe shooting ground, they were all 3 engulfed in a treacherous piece of bog. It had been that dreadful wet summer, in places that were safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was a dreadful part of it. Here the child's voice lost its self-possessed note and became faltering human. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back someday. They and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them and walk in at that window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dusk. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out with her husband with the...
All right, that's time. Good. That's quite a strong result on that right off the bat with no looking at that ahead of time. That's interesting. Okay, so now I want to look at this other thing here that I wanted to ask you a question. I want to look at this test thing and can you please, I'm going to read you a little scenario, and I want you to come up with a plan of attack. So, oh, well, actually, let's do this one first. You're chilling with your friends, Luke, Samantha, Chris, and Tiana. You just met these people a day ago at a bar. Everyone is talking, and Luke decides to talk about how your favorite pro basketball team will lose the next game. You respond lightly at first, but as Luke keeps asserting and taunting you, you become angry and you eventually punch him. Now, the other people in attendance are very upset with you. Luke has a bruised nose, and everyone's questioning your character. Can you please come up with a script to convey to these people that you're not a bad person, you're not a violent person, that they shouldn't condemn you or call the police?
Okay. So if I was on the spot doing this, I would say, I know what I did was wrong. This is not usually my character. He was provoking me, and I know that even if he was provoking me, that doesn't mean that I had to react in that way, and I'm very sorry that I had this reaction.
Okay.
I'll do anything. Okay.
All right, fine.
I would just basically be honest, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool. You are a broke robber who needs to take care of her family. There's a bank that you have had your eye on for a while now. Your task is to rob the bank and not get caught. You'll receive $10 million enough to take care of your family and no longer be a robber. Here are some rules. The bank's open 24 hours a day, but the guards are only on until 10 o'clock. I'll share my screen here for this one so you can look at these rules too. Okay?
Okay.
The bank has one camera above the counter's desk. There are metal locks for every door. There's money in a door behind the teller's counter. If the camera sees you for more than 10 seconds, you fail. The police will come after you and take the money. The bank teller will listen to your every command. The alarm will sound right after you rob the bank. And these are the tools you have: a getaway car, lock cutter, spray paint, mask, gloves, and boots. Slim Jim, devise a plan to rob this bank.
Okay. I'm going to read it again real quick.
Sure. Can you see it all here?
24 hours a day, there are guards from 10 o'clock a.m. to 10 p.m. The bank has one camera above the counter desk. There are metal locks for every door. The money is in a door behind the teller's counter. If the camera sees you for more than 10 seconds, you fail. Which will come in after you take the money. The bank teller will listen to your every command. So am I doing this by myself then?
You have a getaway.
By that?
You have a getaway driver.
Okay.
And car, so you can, I guess, give your getaway driver instructions as well.
Okay. Well, I think it's one camera. They're metal. Well, if I only have 10 seconds to do it.
Well, that's if the camera sees you for more than 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay. Well.
And the alarm won't sound until after you rob the bank.
Oh, God. So what do I do first? Okay, and the cameras are just on the are on the inside, not the outside of the bank?
Oh, one camera above the counter's desk. That's it.
Okay, I guess I would... Okay, well, if there's metal locks on the doors, I would first break that, go in, well, okay, I'd have to put mask and gloves on first in the car, right? And then I would have to break the lock with a tool, and then quickly spray the camera, get the bag, and then leave? Am I missing a step?
You're fine. You're fine. According to this guy who made this test, this is a TE polar test, and according to this TE polar test, you're not TE polar. Let's see about this. Okay, this is a very long question. I don't really want to do that question, but let me see what else I find here that I might want to try. Have you ever heard the troll test before?
What, the troll test?
The troll question?
I have not.
Okay, so the troll question is as follows. Pretend you're the mayor of a Middle Ages town. Your town is split in two by a river. On one side of your town are the merchants, the townspeople, and your castle that you live in. On the other side of the town are the farms, the grain silos, the livestock, and the foodstuffs and stuff. Okay. Now, there's a bridge that crosses over the river, by which, historically, you've always brought the food across the bridge over into this side, and the goods over here as needed. Unfortunately, your bridge has washed away in a freak late fall storm that caused the river to flood and wash your bridge away. And now you have to cross the river by boat. But, equally unfortunately, who has come to take up residence in the middle of your large river but a river troll? And the river troll has one magical power, and that is to run up to any boat that is crossing the river and steal 10% of the food from the boat and run away before they can even do anything about it. It doesn't matter if they have a crust of bread or a whole dead cow. If it's crossing the river in a boat, this troll will take 10% of it. And he says it's the troll tax for services rendered. But you only have enough food stored up for winter, so just barely. If you let this troll take 10% troll tax, then some of your people will starve. And your people are saying, Mayor, you need to do something about this because none of us want to starve. What do you do, Mayor? What do you do?
Okay, and I can only do this one time?
No, I mean, this is a story problem in which you're a mayor trying to figure out how to deal with this situation. You have consultants, you can try things and have them fail and try other things, however you want to approach it.
Okay, but I'm the one who's responsible for getting the food. Like, I can't...
Everybody's...
So if I do, like, I can't...
Everybody, if you let the status quo continue as it is, then people will continue to take food across the river in a boat, and it will get 10% of it taken, and you will lose some of your food stores gradually until it's significant enough that people starve.
Okay, so, well, what if... Okay, so what if I, like, the first time I go, like, I take multiple people with me? Would each of them, is it like a set fixed amount per person, or is it?
No, it's per boat. Per boat. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you've got 50 people or 1 people in the boat. All the food in the boat is considered one quantity of food by the troll, and he'll take 10% of that total amount of food. So if there are 50 people each have a 1 sandwich, he'll take 10% of each of their sandwiches and be gone before anybody can see that he's been there and done it.
Okay, well then, I mean, I guess, okay, well, if you can go multiple times, if this is not a one and done type thing, then I would go multiple times to make sure that everyone, because if he takes 10% of this, then it's, it's not a lot, but I could just go back if that's the case, right?
Yeah, but you're going to run out of food before the end of winter. Yeah, you're going to run out of food. You have just enough food, but the problem is you have just enough food saved up so that everybody can be fed all winter long. If you let the troll take 10% of the food, then before the end of the winter, you will run out of food and people will start starving to death.
Okay, and what...
So the citizens say, solve this problem now so that this troll tax doesn't turn into starvation.
Okay. Well, you could always, get rid of part of the population first so that technically no one would starve, but that would still end in the result of death in some way or form or fashion, but at least no one would starve, I guess.
That's, it's not, I got a confirmation from Kimberly for...
Okay, cool. Yeah, 3 o'clock. This is a typing session I started at 1:30, and it'll be over soon. It'll be over in
half an hour. I'll be out about 5:00.
Okay, cool. Okay, so that's true. You could solve the problem by getting rid of some people. Now maybe you could find out some noble quest for them to go on, so that you're not technically killing them. You're just bamboozling them into going off to a suicide mission or something.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, okay. So if at this point, if I'm starting to prepare to do this task, right? Like, and I'm saving up like for the winter or whatever. If there's already food that the town or village has already at that point, then we could combine that with the stuff that I'm going to get, right?
What stuff? Where are you going to get it from?
Well, no, like, okay, so I'm going on this quest to get the
is that what you're sending your people on a quest to do, to get them food, or what?
Yeah, okay, so you told me that I'm going on this quest to get the food, right?
I know, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said, you are the mayor of the town. You've got a problem. You've got a river troll who's come to live in your river, and he keeps stealing some of your food.
Yes.
The citizens want you to do something about it.
Yes.
But they haven't told you what they want you to do about it.
Yes, but you said that I'm going in a boat. Right?
I just said, right now, remember, your town is split in two by a river, okay? On one side of the river is a town. On the other side are the farms and the grain silos and stuff like that. Right now, the way you get the food across is you put it on a boat and you bring it over here to where the people are. And then they eat it, right? But the problem is you're going to lose 10% of the food to the trolls, so some people are going to starve. So the thing is, when I said the quest thing, I was talking about, you had mentioned getting rid of some people, so then you have enough food, even though you have more of a surplus of food, so you can afford the 10% loss. And I said, well, you could send them on some sort of quest.
Okay, I mean, then that's the only solution I see.
Okay.
But it also depends on how much each person eats. I mean, how can you? I mean, I guess that's going off into like theoretical possibilities, but like, you know, not everyone eats the same. So how do you know that like someone's gonna starve? Like, I don't know. It's just yeah.
Okay, so you don't believe people are going to starve until you experience it? Are you a seeing is believing person?
Not necessarily. It's just it's not that. I guess if you're asking, if you're saying that no matter what way you look at it, they will starve.
Well, what I'm saying is this: you did a shitty job this year preparing for winter. You got barely enough food in your storehouses, and now you got to deal with the fact that an unexpected food removing vector has come into play. Namely, the
then that's the only thing I can really think of is like send them off.
Well, why don't you try to kill the troll?
I don't know because I'm not thinking.
Okay. So that's interesting. She's fine. Okay, that's interesting. Can you tell me when it's time to relax and you know, kick your feet up after work or whatever, or how much attention do you pay to like making sure where you're going to be kicking back is set up comfortably for you?
As long as it's not cold, then anything is fine. I mean, as long as it's not cold and like I'm not sitting on an uncomfortable chair, even then I don't really care. Then I'm pretty comfortable.
How much sleep do you think you need a night?
I would say probably 8, which is like, you know, for the normal person.
Do you get it?
No, not always. Sometimes I get 12, sometimes I get 3. Sometimes it just depends.
Are you likely to hold your pee till you pop, or are you on top of that?
Oh, I can't. Well, I have a bladder issue, so I can't do that because I have to pee like every 5 seconds, so it's like an obsessive thing. I have to.
Welcome to the party.
It's awful.
What about beverages? Do you let yourself get dehydrated, or do you stay on top of keeping yourself having a drink nearby? You got your
I always have to have a drink.
Okay, cool.
Wait, can I ask you a question really quick?
Sure.
Okay, so with you doing these tests, like, well, could I guess like nervousness or just like being put on the spot, could that kind of skew the answers? Like, could that make them, would that make them more reliable or less reliable? Because I feel like some of these answers I could have answered way better, and it sounds like I'm not even thinking when I'm answering them. It's like I just feel pressure, you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like I can't answer it right, or not right, but like more.
You feel like you can't access your creativity as well as you might otherwise?
Yeah, like obviously, like you just asked me that question about the troll, and that was the most easiest answer, is just to try to get rid of the troll. But I didn't even think about that, and I honestly don't know if I feel like I would have. Well, I don't really know. I feel like maybe it's the best way to do it, because if you put on the spot, then you can see how someone initially reacts to something. So that might be the most raw and authentic version of themselves if they don't have time to sit down and think about it. I don't know. But yeah.
Okay. Robbie lives in a bad part of town. It's also very hot this time of year. And he goes to the pharmacy. Before he goes to the pharmacy, his significant other warns him, "Watch out, Robbie. You know there's been a string of murders lately of people who are wearing beach clothes." And Robbie said, "Okay, good to know." Then Robbie went to work. And then Robbie went to the pharmacy. And he was dressed in work clothes. while he was
Sorry.
Is she okay?
She's fine. While I was at the pharmacy, he tells his significant other later, I saw somebody get murdered outside. They had sandals on. And then the next month, he goes to the pharmacy again. And this time, he sees a person getting stabbed by 3 other people right outside the pharmacy. And he goes home and tells his wife. This time they had on a tank top. And he goes to the pharmacy again. And he sees out front of the pharmacy somebody get hit by a car and die. And he says this person had on a baseball cap to his wife later. And then he stops going to that pharmacy. He goes to a pharmacy in a different part of town the next month. And on the next month, it's he's there, and somebody is having an argument in one corner of the store, and then one of the 2 people collapses and is on the floor and obviously dead. And he goes home later and tells his wife that the guy was wearing beachwear. Once again, in each of these instances, Robbie goes to the pharmacy in his work clothes. And then he says to his wife, we should just move someplace else. This place is too dangerous. I've seen murder each of the last 5 months, or I've seen a death each of the last 5 months at the pharmacy. So I think we should move. Now, I want you to come up with a theory as to why these deaths are occurring, what's the cause of them, why Robbie isn't killed, etc. You be the detective, create a story to explain this phenomenon.
Okay. God. Okay, I feel like I'm forgetting some small details that are important. Okay, so every time Robbie goes to the pharmacy, somebody gets killed, correct?
Right.
Okay.
We're just looking for a theory of the crime that makes some kind of sense. It doesn't have to be a great theory of the crime.
Maybe because, like, well, for the reason why, I mean, it could be that, I don't know, if it's at a pharmacy, it could be drug related, or it could be, I mean, it could, like, that area could be, you know, poor, and why Robbie never gets killed. Well, he's
So in each of the murders, the person who, or each of the deaths, the person who dies, it's not clear that all of them are murders. It's clear that a couple of them are murders. And all of the deaths, they're wearing some kind of beach clothing. Robbie, in each of the instances, is wearing work clothing. Does that have anything to do with it, or is it just a red herring?
I don't think it would have anything to do with it. I mean, because at the beginning of the story, you said it was like a hot summer. I mean, so why would that have anything to do with it?
Yeah, but the story continues for 5 or 6 months, so it can't be hot at the end of the story, right?
I mean, no. Well, depending on where you live.
I guess, and depending on when the story starts.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a hot summer. I said it was a hot time of year. So
okay, well, hot time of the year. So
if it was like May, yeah, it could still be hot. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm missing something. Like,
but there's no answer to the question, by the way. The goal here is to get you to come up with a theory of the crime that makes some kind of sense.
Well, okay, but it's just, I don't know, some of the details, they don't really seem that, like, some details are telling. They don't seem very, like, I don't know, I don't really think I could come up with some creative thing about it. I don't know if that's me or just the story that it is and the way I'm thinking about it, but I mean, I don't really think it has anything to do with the heat. And then, like, the fact that they're at a pharmacy, I don't really know what I could connect with that and why Robbie isn't the one that is being targeted. I mean, I don't know if there's any special answer other than random chance of who gets killed. I mean, maybe it's just some sort of, like, killing pattern that they're looking for, and they just, I don't know.
Okay. When you're wrong about something, is it more likely because you've seen a pattern where there is none, or is it more likely because you've assumed the future is going to be like the past and you were wrong about that?
I guess it's more the second one. It's more like it's oftentimes when I'm, like, predicting what someone's going to do or say, or, like, what they mean behind something. Like, it depends on the conversation, but if someone says something, oftentimes I'll be like, before they can finish their sentence, I'll be like, oh, you mean this, or you're talking about this, because it, like, brings up, like, a small detail that reminds me of something that probably was said in the past, or that, would obviously make, common sense that they would be talking, or that they would mean this.
Okay, so, like, for example, let's try putting it in these terms. Let's say you and I are hanging out one day, and you're a big fan of Santa Claus, and I say, you know what? People who like Santa Claus just piss me off, not knowing that you are a big fan of Santa Claus, right?
Yeah.
And then we end up getting a big argument about it.
Okay.
And then later on, I'm hanging out with you again, and I say, you know what I think people about Santa Claus? Now, are you likely to go, don't you start in with that shit again?
Yeah.
Before even hearing the rest of it?
Yeah, because the way I would see it is, like, so you already expressed in a past situation that you don't like people who like Santa Claus piss you off, okay? So then I would think that once you come to understand that I like Santa Claus, a lot of times people like to antagonize people for different views or beliefs or whatever, just because it's different and they want to be an asshole, so I would think that you were trying to antagonize me. So I guess it would work, because as soon as you said that one thing, I would get triggered, and then I would be like, I know what you're trying to do. Like,
see, you know what I would actually be trying to do? But you know what I would actually be trying to do? I'd be trying to decouple the association between Santa Claus and the negative fight we had previously by starting the same way, but ending with something positive. You know what I think about people who like Santa Claus? I think they're absolutely delightful.
Well, then if you did say that, then I would say, okay, well, then you're doing that because obviously you knew that I got, like, offended because you told me that you didn't like people who like Santa Claus, so you're just trying to. So basically, I wouldn't trust you because you'd be lying to me.
Okay, well, what if instead of saying that they're delightful, you know what I think about people who like Santa Claus? I think they taught me a very important lesson last conversation.
Honestly, I'd rather you just say, like, okay, if you think that about me, then just say that, okay, I don't know, just be 100% like.
Well, I mean, but the lesson would be, I learned an important lesson because I realized that while in general it may be the case that people like Santa Claus piss me off, you didn't piss me off. Right? So obviously I'm wrong about my perception about people who like Santa Claus. That's the important lesson I've learned. Right?
But is your intent behind that just so that I'm not mad at you? Is that your intent? So that there's like.
Well, is there any other intent possible?
Well, I mean, well, then see, then that's not genuine. So I wouldn't.
Not genuine.
No. If you already okay.
I genuinely don't want to piss you off.
Well, yeah, but by you lying to me, I'd rather know the truth. I'd rather know that, you know. I mean, you already said it, and it already pissed me off.
Okay, well, isn't it possible for me to learn from my mistake?
I mean, okay, listen, it is, but in that sense, you already, it's kind of like saying, like, calling someone ugly, and then they get offended, and then you're like, oh, no, I think you're beautiful. Well, you just said I was ugly. Why would I believe anything you say now? You just said something that was totally contradicting, and now you're just trying to tell me the opposite because you knew I got offended. But if I hadn't gotten offended, then you wouldn't be trying to make up for it. So it's really just kind of, it's just manipulating.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Me?
Yeah. I'm just curious.
No.
No?
Never. I don't have a boyfriend, and I've never had a boyfriend.
Really? You are going to be a handful in any relationship.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes.
I felt like I was really in trouble there, Mackenzie. I really felt like you loved Santa Claus at that point, and that I had talked shit, and I was really in trouble here. You've got epic pro level scold in you. You're ready to scold the living fuck out of somebody.
Well, it also depends on who it is. So if it's someone that I'm not, like, I don't really know super well, then I don't know how much of my opinion I would put in. But I would, like, if you say that you don't like Santa Claus, that's fine, but then don't later tell me that you think that people who do are so great or whatever.
So it's definitely worse,
to manipulate.
From your perspective, it's definitely worse for somebody to deceive you than it is for them to be rude to you?
Yeah, okay, here's the thing. So I don't like, if you have an opinion about me that's negative, whether it's appearance, personality, blah, 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 it's better to just not say anything because you don't know how that's going to affect that person. It's probably going to be negative. But if I ask you, hey, do you think this about me? And if it's something negative, I would want you to tell me the truth. And, like, yes, it may offend me, but I'm not going to lash out at you for me asking the truth and you giving me what your honest opinion is. You know what I mean? But then if you say, like, oh, I hate people who hate Santa Claus, and I say, oh, well, I like Santa Claus, then we get in a fight about it, then, you know, that's fine. At least you were honest. But don't then later say, like, oh, well, I like, you know, people who like Santa Claus, I learned a lesson from them, or, you know, because
don't bullshit a bullshitter.
Yeah.
Okay, so then another question: how are you somebody who might have a garage sale, sell like 5 things, and realize, oh, I wish I hadn't sold that one because it's actually important to me?
I mean, if something's absolutely, completely important to me, then I wouldn't sell it. But, you know, well, in the situation that you're asking, if I accidentally sell something that is important, it might, like, you know, pull my heartstring a little bit, like, oh, wish I hadn't have sold that, but then I'll forget, I'll be like, whatever, like, I sold it, whatever, you know, I'm not going to cry about it. There's nothing that important that I have where I'm like, I absolutely should have not gotten rid of that.
Okay, Mackenzie, I'm gonna have to wrap this up because I have a video conference with my dad regarding my mom and the hospice she's staying in coming up at 3:00. But I would like to. I'm not entirely sure about your type yet, and I'd like to ideally have a short follow up so I can finish this. But
okay. Do you want to do it later today?
If possible, and we'll have to communicate by email because I gotta look at my calendar here. Well, let me just stop this recording real quick.